Welcome back again today, friends, for my No More Grocery Store grocery haul. With a whole lot of food, with my table still full of food. What in the world are we doing here? Well, I shared in a recent video, just feeling all these feelings that have been bubbling up for a while, and I just, for several years now, I wanted to learn how to get out of going to the grocery store as much as possible. It all felt complicated though, so I'll spare you a lot of that in this video. If you're interested on hearing my whole No More Grocery Store dissertation and challenge, I will have that link for you down in the description below. But today, I have my large trailer grocery haul done in a different way. So in this super mega massive large trailer grocery haul, I went to 3 different sources. Of course, as you can tell, I did have a huge Azure order. I was not sure how much of that I was actually going to get, and I did get quite a bit of it, so we'll go into those details. I also went to my local John Henry General Store that is, again, very local to me. They do have amazing locally grown produce deals and also organic produce deals that they get from other locations. They get lots of seasonal deals, and I have this winter even seen produce through them that was marked as being raised in Florida and from other locations. And I also did put in a meat order from a local grass-raised and grass-finished farm that we like to buy meat from in our area. So jumping right in from Azure, I got 2 50-pound bags of rolled oats that were also gluten-free. These were $68.75 per 50-pound bag. And this works out to be about the same of what I usually pay for old-fashioned oats because I've been buying 25-pound bags. I usually buy 2 to 4 25-pound bags at a time, and the prices of those, I believe last time, were around $28 per 25-pound bag. Those were not also certified gluten-free, and I am watching the gluten in this household as well. Although we don't have everything totally worked out and figured out, I'm doing what I can. So I am paying a little bit more for these oats, but again, I'm getting them in 50-pound bags and they are gluten-free. So I was paying $56 thereabouts for 50 pounds of old-fashioned oats. Okay, and here was my price. I'm sorry, it was $68.64. Total price $137.28. 102 pounds total. And then I had a whole lot of spices in my cart. Now I was hopeful that a lot of these would come through, but of course in my order at different times it was just saying that be prepared, a lot of these may not be available. And so the biggest reason I wanted to work on doing a spice switch out is, again, these spices are gluten-free and GMO-free. And so, yeah, it's a big investment on the front end here for me to do this. But I felt like it was kind of now or never, and I'm doing this challenge and I want to make these changes. And so I found myself cooking the other day, and when I was going through my spices, I realized that some of them were not gluten-free, even though I have had these comments already come in that, you know, J. Morel, this and that's already gluten-free, and gluten-free is a fake, or gluten-free is something you don't really have to worry about if the food is already gluten-free. And as you get into it and start doing gluten-free research, it really depends on where it's manufactured and how it's handled. Even if it is a food item that, yes, should be gluten-free, if it's processed at a facility that handles products with gluten, it can contain traces of wheat. And again, this is not something that everybody has to do, but this is something that I want to make the switch out for my family. I want to make sure that what I'm seasoning our food with is also gluten-free, and for added bonus, GMO-free. And again, I know I won't do it perfectly right. I am just doing this transition and sharing it with you and doing it as gentle as possible. And I felt like when I was putting in my Azure order this month, I thought, let's tackle spices, okay? Let's just tackle them. Let's get this worked out. to what I feel like I can do right now. And yes, there will be different spices that I am producing in my garden. Like we made our homemade onion powder with our Egyptian walking onions the other week. Until I'm my own spice factory, this is what I'm going with now. So we've got parsley, we've got bay leaves, we have onion powder. This is what I was cooking with a few weeks ago and before I made my own. And it just said on the package that it was not gluten-free, and I thought, really? I have to consider that too? But again, it's something I'm considering. We have nutmeg, we have cloves, peppercorns, roasted garlic powder. I have allspice, rosemary. We've got steak seasoning. I know Travis likes to use different seasonings whenever he grills for us. Some lemon pepper. This is for a dill dip, already made and ready to go. And apparently I got 3 bags of that, 3 1-pound bags. But I was thinking some are fun thoughts. We have sage leaves, pizza seasoning, vegetable herb dip mix. Again, thinking of making homemade dips, turmeric powder, celery seeds, rosemary, basil, lots of taco seasoning. Now yes, we can make homemade taco seasoning. I also have chili powder in there, but I also don't mind having it come in a bag from Azure. We've got salsa seasoning, buttermilk ranch dressing mix, apple pie spice, Italian seasoning, paprika. Lots of good seasoning options for us. Also, I got some more nutritional yeast. This can be added, like it says here, you can put it on popcorn, cereals, casseroles, soup. Kind of has a cheesy flavor. It says use as seasonings for salads, gravies, soups, casseroles, sandwiches, and spread. And it's supposed to be good for adding more nutrition to our food. Seeing if it has any other info on it that I can read to you. Okay, I'll let that be. Now, I was actually out of town when our Azure order came in. A lot of times, these sourdough starters and such need to be refrigerated. This was a gluten-free sourdough starter. I may need to call the company. See, it doesn't say, it says contains 1 packet, but live active cultures. Let's see if we have any clues in here. Seeing if it was like a dehydrated powder. Well, I'm just gonna give it a go. But when I saw it, because a lot of the non-perishable stuff has sat at the end of the table and waited for me, I thought, oh, when I saw it this morning getting ready to film this for you, I thought, oh man, that might need to go in the refrigerator. But now I'm thinking it might be okay, we'll see. And I got ready to tell you all about these chocolate chips, and I remembered some other things that were from this haul, but in the refrigerator that I wanted to share with you. So, this is 30 pounds of fair trade, organic, allergen-free chocolate chips. I know there's a questionable hole in the side of it, but that's from me making oatmeal this morning and giving everyone some chocolate chip pieces. So again, I wasn't here. Travis and the kids picked this haul up for me a couple days ago. Again, I was still out of town. Obviously, this bag of chocolate chips must have broke, and it got put into one of these bags. I'm not gonna ask too many questions about it. I'm sure it's all on the up and up, okay? Okay. Last month, I had ordered my chocolate chips, and I didn't get them, and they gave me a credit back. So I've just been determined to get my hands on these chocolate chips. I don't know how long they're gonna last, okay? I believe, didn't Sarah, my friend Sarah over on our Tribe of Many, I remember her having this fun little video go around about like how long would it take their large family of 13 or 130 to go through their chocolate chips. I don't know how long it's going to take our family of 11 to go through these, but they're here now. We got them, and we're gonna put these in these containers. Also, I got some different gluten-free bread products to try for my gluten-free folks in particular. This is called Carbonate Gluten-Free Bagels Plain. 2 carbs, 7 calories, 32 grams of fiber. So this is also keto certified, but it is also gluten-free. So I got 2 bags of these to give it a shot. Also got 2 packs of these gluten-free English muffins. Those will go back in the freezer. And then I got a variety of tortillas here. This is a brown rice tortilla, and a brown rice tortilla. These are, yeah, both my gluten-free ones there. And then these are regular old Ezekiel bread tortillas, but those are non-GMO, let's see, but it does contain wheat, sesame, and soy. So these are not for my gluten-free folks, but I would eat these, right? Okay, so Mama and a couple other folks would eat these. So I got those. Also from Azure, I got this nice big thing of cheese that has already been sliced into, and this was one of the things that I wasn't sure if we were getting or not. So it's raw pepper jack cheese, aged 60 days, 5.54 pounds. I'll look at my sheet to get you the price on that. Okay, so it's $5.18 a pound. I also, at Azure, they have a variety of books, and I was looking to see what books they have available. I've heard of Fire Cider before, but I wanted to read about it, and I wanted to not read about it with lights in my eyes on the internet. I still like real books. So it says 101 zesty recipes for health-boosting remedies made with apple cider vinegar. Look like fun. Also, I got this book that makes you feel holistic already on wild crafted vinegars. It says making and using techniques for ferments, quick pickles, hot sauces, soups, salad dressings, paste, mustards, and more. Looks like a good time, so I got that. Might be a year until I actually get to it, because I got a pretty big stack right now, but I wanted to have them for my home library. Okay, also other Azure things. Well, I did mention to you in a recent video that I was totally out of olive oil, so I got 4 big 1-gallon jugs of olive oil. We need it, we use it. Now, as I share this haul, you know, there are definitely things like the fresh produce. I mean, this is gone this week. Other things, the spices, the oats, these noodles we're going to talk about in a second, and a lot of these condiments are over many, many months. So I'm stocking up on many things. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to, well, I'm looking at all these things I haven't shared yet, but I don't know how long it's going to take us to go through 4 gallons of vinegar. So what we should do is mark these, because some of these things I have paid attention to in life, and some of these I have not. And as I'm making substantial changes into how I obtain the food, produce the food, you know, grow the food, can the food, do all the things, provide food for my family in different ways. Since I'm doing different things anyway, let's take note of that. So we'll mark the olive oil. The other thing I got, I believe it was 12. So we go through a lot of ketchup. Now, you know, hopes and dreams, you and me, all of us here, we are going to make homemade ketchup for the first time. Oh yes, we are. Haven't done it yet, but we will. It takes a lot of tomatoes from what I hear, and I don't know about making large family ketchup a year in advance. So I got organic ketchup from Azure. It was, it says the taters made, that's funny. It is organic, and I did get 12 of these. Again, go through a lot of ketchup, but these are life changes, okay? Also, I got 12 of the yellow mustards, and I got 12 of the stone ground mustard. We like both of these. Also, now I've been using liquid aminos as a soy sauce replacer for probably 5 to 8 years now. I learned about it first reading the Trim Healthy Mama books. So, hey, this is something I have been using, look at me. But I got 3 more bottles of it. I feel like I should have got 12 of this. It's vegan, non-GMO, no artificial colors or flavors, gluten-free, no alcohol. So anyway, got that. And when you see our big cabbage, you'll be like, yeah, there's egg roll and bowl in the future. Also, I got some more nutritional yeast already in these little shakers. And I got 3 bottles, lots of salad going on, of their vinaigrette. Okay, so those are some of the sauces that I got. Now, on to the noodles. So even if folks aren't gluten-free in my house, you know, I have some in particular that need to be. So I've been talking to some of my other friends who have gluten-free needs, and one of my friends just told me, you know, she just feeds everybody gluten-free, and that makes it easier on her and the whole family. And so where I can make switches out, I am. And so here we come to noodles. So we're just gonna try it and see. I've been replacing using the gluten-free noodles I already had over the last several weeks, and I think I might have 2 little bags there now of brown rice noodles. And I'm getting better at cooking gluten-free noodles. You know, it takes some practice, but I have some. This is with brown rice pasta. This is some penne. Let's see, what is this? Okay, and then I also have the lasagna sheets, and then I also have the spaghetti. So if any of you have done gluten-free freezer meals with gluten-free noodles, I haven't tested those. So let me know how that has worked out for you. Also, I'm just wondering, like with these lasagna sheets, if I did gluten-free lasagna, and this is easy no-boil lasagna, I guess I just, you know, simple things confuse me sometimes. That's okay. I guess I will just put those in. We'll test it, right? Then we'll get down to, wow, what big cabbages. So, sorry, I had that counting down. Okay, what big cabbages. So then also, so I've been picking away. So we did the big Azure order. And again, I was hopeful that I was gonna get a lot of it, but I knew that things like the spices, if those didn't come through, it would be okay, I could make do. Oh no, wait, there's more before we get to this cabbage, hold on. Okay, so milk. Milk was a big one. We've been a gallon a day milk family for years, and before we were a gallon a day milk family, we were a gallon every 2 days. Back when I first started once a month grocery shopping, I could get 15 gallons at the beginning of the month, freeze half, use the other half, rotate them through, and then as my kids got older, we went to a gallon a day. Okay, so this is not all the milk that we bought. Locally, I've put some calls out. I'm looking for another good source of raw milk locally, but I haven't connected with anyone yet on that. I am also getting a Jersey cow. She's not in milk at this time though, and I know that's a whole other process. So for now, while I'm in between different options, Azure does have, and this one's open, and you can see that cream line there, they do have A2 milk. Now it's not raw, that's a whole deep conversation I won't fumble around with right now, but it is A2 milk, and if you need A2, and if you don't need that A1 gene that can affect people in different ways, this is an option. I cannot wait to be obtaining our own milk and doing all the things with our own Jersey cow milk here on our little farm. But I wanted to give this a try as far as Azure. Now this is an example of, they told me that these were not available after I put them in my cart, and they did end up shipping. So I was hopeful that that would work out. This is, let's see, okay, 100% grass-fed, same farm, also A2, it's seasonal full fat. I had this in my cart also because, again, I thought, well, if I don't get the one, I might get the other. I got four of these 6-packs, and my family has used one of them already, but that hasn't been our only milk. Before I went out of town, and this isn't the milk I got, but again, going into the local John Henry General Store, so if that encourages you in any way, just look for your local resources, your local retailers, your local farm stands, your local farmers markets. If you want to spend less time in the grocery store for your own list of reasons, look for other options for milk. So even though, like, I know that there are local dairy producers that do the herd shares that I can get raw milk from in this area. I did have one where we bottle fed our calf Margaret, who we raised for a year and later sold at auction. We got whole 5-gallon buckets of milk from them, and then we also did a herd share and got milk for our family for a time. Part of my trouble with that long term is the location and getting the jars how they need to be and returning them and getting it back home. It's gonna be easier for me to handle having a cow and doing our own dairying here, even though, I mean, it's a trade-off of our time, but I don't have to leave the property. Anyway, enough about that. Before I went out of town, when I went into John Henry for some personal watermelons and things the other week for the kids, just like fresh fruit and vegetable type snacks, I saw that they also had A2 dairy. And I picked us up, we got a couple gallons, and actually it was in, pretty sure I showed it in a recent video, they were in glass jars, and it was called the Homestead Dairy or something like that, and it was in a couple towns over from us, and they sold them at the local John Henry General Store. We had to pay a $3 deposit on each glass bottle, but then we got that back, and I did milk that way for us for about a week. And when I was gone, the family picked up the Azure order, and so they've also had this milk to go through. And then whenever I went in John Henry yesterday, and I did more fresh fruits and vegetable deals. Now this does not say this is A2 milk, but it does say it's from a local creamery, and it is grass-fed, it's antibiotic-free, cream line, yada, 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 whole milk. Anyway, these milks at John Henry the other day were 50% off, and that's because it was their sell-by day, and I guess with milk they had to mark it down. So I did get several dollars off of these, and again, I didn't have to go into a big box grocery store. It was small town USA. So this is the last from the Azure order, and we're gonna do totals and drill all this down. The other thing that I did is J&L Green Farm. This is a local farm here in the Shenandoah Valley. This is the only farm I've ever bought like my whole grass-fed, grass-finished cows and the whole hog. And I don't buy chickens from them now because we raise and produce our own chickens now. We'll be processing some chickens here in about 6 weeks or so. But in 2017 or 18, I did buy a 20 chicken bundle from them and had our homegrown chickens that way. So my freezers downstairs are looking good in that we've been eating down through them, we've been clearing them out. I'm making room for our own meat processing, also making room for what I'm hopeful will be a good garden harvest and lots of projects and fun adventures coming. We do have several quarts of our canned ground beef and canned sausage and other meats. And we also still have several beef roast and many steak cuts and stew meat cuts. So I wasn't feeling like we were to the point where I needed to order a whole cow again from them, which I will do probably in the fall because we still have, again, all those other cuts to eat through, but we don't have any more ground beef. So this was a big ground beef order. It's 3 boxes. I believe I got somewhere between 100 and 140 pounds, and I was able to get the meat for under $9 a pound. It was $8 and some change. We'll say it was like $8.57 or so. And everything is in the 1 pound packets, because again, this was not a whole cow that I was buying where I could choose like to get it frozen in the 5 pound packets. I've bought full cows that come in these sizes as well, which is the last time I requested the 5 pound packs. So I did a ground beef stock up, because even the other day I was thinking about doing meatballs and doing some meatloaf and just some things that I can't do with the home canned ground beef, although we've been using that in a lot of things and it's been great. I just thought I would like to buy some ground beef. But if I'm not gonna buy ground beef and stock up from the grocery store, I guess I need to put an order in with the farm that we buy the whole cow from, because yes, I've bought the whole cow in the past, but we do roll through the ground beef quickly and then end up with all the other cuts that we also work through over time. And so I thought this will just be the first time that I put in an only ground beef order and go from there. Visions for the future, and these are things we've been processing and working through, but whenever we can get what I would like to be 2 cows. Do you want me to talk about cows? Whenever we can get 2 cows going, and then whenever we're having calves on the farm, and then as we can raise some up to be processed for meat, or we could sell as someone else's future dairy cow. Those decisions we'll just have to make each time depending on what's going on. But in the meantime, I'm supporting another local farm and I know how the cows were raised. So then also at John Henry, I stocked up on strawberries. Now you're gonna see, yes, there are some that are molding in this, and that's because I got these for $1 per flat. So it was 8 pounds of strawberries. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 total. My kids have already eaten through a whole flat. This can happen to anybody, right? But for 12 cents a pound, I was like, no problem. We have animals. We will pick out the ones that need to be picked out. We're gonna actually go through and process all of these this afternoon, just get them all washed up, get the little heads chopped up, get a bowl going for the pigs. They love some strawberries. Chickens have had other treats today. Don't worry about them. So we'll make bacon with these strawberries, and I just thought that was, of course, a phenomenal deal. And they had these giant cabbages for $3.99 a head. Now it is so cute in the garden. I have cabbages. I didn't know about covering them. One of my friends shared that with me, and she had, when I was over there maybe 2 weeks ago, she had them all covered. I thought it was only a seasonal, like related to frost thing, but she was saying that in our area, we have bugs in particular, and I forget which one she told me, but they go after the cabbages. But she kept hers covered because of that. So ours are still growing and our cabbage is cabbaging. There's just nice little holes through it, but that's okay. I'm gonna cook it up and eat it just the same. And then I also got half a bushel of squash for $9.99. Now I thought the sign said zucchini, so I thought I was buying half a bushel of zucchini. I bought half a bushel of cucumbers. That's okay, I like them just the same. It's just wasn't my cooking plan when I bought them. Now my plan is with this milk, that was my concern, was about the date and ordering it once a month. I wasn't quite sure how that would work out. But then even on the Azure page, they had a nice little video about, guess what? My olden day skills, freezing milk. And I was like, oh yeah, I used to freeze milk. We used to do that. So that's the plan. I'm gonna leave a few of these out, and we are gonna go back to some of our kids don't even know about freezing milk, and send them out to defrost and giving it some good shake and using that up. So we will get these in the freezers as well. Now my local milk source might work out. I just haven't connected with this other farm in particular that I want to work with. That's a little closer, and I might be able to add it to like our Sunday after church routine, so we can buy milk from them, doing a herd share for a season. Okay, so here is the price I paid for the ground beef. So total $1,072.62. So I paid $8.93 a pound for this ground beef. So I just wrote out the math for us on what I spent for this haul. Now remember, this is not just for 1 month. I'm not thinking of this as like once a month grocery shopping. I'm changing my thinking, and we'll have to work this out together. But my total Azure haul was $1,567.31. Everything in there but the milk will go over several months, maybe even a year for some things. We'll see how that works out. I mean, I will need more noodles, I'm sure, at some point, and I may use different types of noodles, but that's not a month's worth of noodles. The oatmeal, let's label some things. Let's see how many months I can get out of this. The ground beef, 120 pounds, was $1,072.62. And then I spent right around $47, I can't put my hand on my receipt, at the John Henry General Store. That was for these 50% off gallons of milk, the strawberry deal, the heads of cabbage, the half a bushel squash, half a bushel of cucumbers, or zucchini turned cucumbers, and I feel like there were a few other things that are already gone that I just didn't get filmed in time. But anyway, this is our John Henry haul, our J&L Green Farm meat haul. That meat is going to definitely be over several months because I have other meats I'm working with too. And then our Azure grocery haul. So I did get, again, the gluten-free bread things. I have plans. I have things that we're doing. My plan is that I'm going to be making most of our bread. We're going to get the bread machines going. I got my mock mill fired up. So bread making is happening. Butter, I'll need to buy that between John Henry and Azure until I'm making my own. If I get my local raw milk source worked out here in the coming weeks, then we can make butter that way also. And I, of course, have other meats and canned goods and home canned items. And we will be harvesting and food preserving and using in live cooking different produce from the garden and other adventures. So now we're gonna work on putting a lot of this stuff away. I will show you some freezers and refrigerators and show you how it all works out. We're gonna process these strawberries, get the chocolate chips put in jars, and do some other food prep. So the chocolate chips are gonna get all jarred up. We'll see how many jars we get out of them. And then the strawberries now, we are washing these, picking out the ones that need to go be pig food, and then all the ones that we're gonna salvage. But again, for 12 cents a pound, we can do this. So when I came downstairs to get the milk put in the freezer and just to, you know, take inventory again, get the meat put away, the mama cleaning bug was like, clean all this now. So I took some time to clean up my freeze dryer area, to wipe down my refrigerators, to wipe out many freezers, to clean off many of the doors. And then I go ahead and I start putting the ground beef into the ground beef freezer. I did realize I have a whole lot of homegrown, grass-fed, grass-raised beef bones that I need to get back to working on doing my own homemade beef broth. So we're definitely going to work through that. I also cleaned out this refrigerator. Okay, so this has kind of become my, if you give a mouse a cookie, freezer project. I went to pick off what I thought was a little bit of ice at the bottom, and it turns out it was a whole lot of ice at the bottom. I'll think about that later. Thank goodness the floors are concrete. I wanted to get this ground beef put away in the beef freezer. It's probably been there for a while, but it wasn't until I picked the basket out that I found it. I also do some other reorganizing and cleaning down here, but we pulled it all together. It feels so much better. Yay us. Alrighty, so here's the beef freezer minus some ice. I was able to get, of course, who knows, where did it go? No one knows. No one can tell you the mysteries of freezer doors. Okay, so it's the 120 pounds in that basket, and then that basket had some other beef cuts, but I was able to put some on the top, put the rest of it in the doors here. So this basket has various cuts. This basket has various cuts. On these shelves here, it's a lot of ribs, and then I have an oxtail there, and then bags of bones. So I really need to get back into making beef bone broth as well. And then just to show you other things going on in here. So if you remember from other videos, the fruit and veggie freezer. So this is what we have in the fruit and veggie freezer right now. So yes, we are ready for some produce deals and some harvest good times coming on. I think it's been a couple months since I've shown you guys these. And then this is just, what in the world? Yes, it is freezer meal cooking time. During that huge time it took me to get the garden in, and just, well, since my last big freezer cooking, we've been working on eating these down too. And then just for toursy fun, this refrigerator does not have anything else in it except for the pre-made pie crust and stuff that I was going to use in a freezer cooking video thing that I was doing, not doing today. Here's how the bread freezer is looking. We have not hit those bagels in a while, so we probably need to do that this summer. These items up here at the top are new from today's haul. If you remember my last Azure haul, I bought a whole case of the Ezekiel English muffins, and so we only have 3 of those left. We do go through those pretty well. Again, the beef freezer you saw. So this is pork, chicken, and kind of catch-all freezer right now. Did get the milk put away in here. I do have store-bought butter that's still in here, and like some already pre-cooked turkey, just saying some random things that got thrown in here. There's a ham bone, and then we have some sections from the whole hog that we had bought many months ago that are in that basket and around, so we'll be working through this. And then this is just nothing in here either. Again, Harvest, we're ready for you. So I do have from my Azure haul from last month, I have some cottage cheese there, some sour cream, some other, I think I've got two more of the whole milk cottage cheese, some more sour cream, more yogurt. But then here in my little meal prep section, so I'm going to bring up 2 bags of beef bones there. I'll probably bring up a roaster oven. I just want to get some beef broth going. I have 2 packs here of store-bought eggs that have been in my refrigerator. These are dated for July, and I mean, they're fine even past that date, but I'm just want to use these up. So I'm going to do some hard-boiled eggs for snacks, and I'm going to do some homemade yogurt in the Instant Pot. I've done yogurt on the stovetop, in the slow cooker, in the Instant Pot for many, many years. I don't think I've done it at all since living in this house, which has been over 3 years now. So I just want to do this to get back in the routine. I know I have some Greek yogurt in the refrigerator, but I also want to get in the routine of making it. I have kids who don't remember me making yogurt, so I told them, well, that's okay. We'll get some made this week also, and I'll use some of that Greek yogurt as our starter. So thank you so much for watching, friends. My No More Grocery Store absolutely massive grocery haul, $2,600. What in the world? But we will not be doing $2,600 a month. You know, with my big, like when I would go to Costco or wherever and do a big like 4 to 6 weeks grocery haul, I would spend $1,200 to $1,500 roughly for the month. And what I'm trying to do now is get in some routines where I can have months that I don't even go. But because we're also making dietary changes, like trying to go mostly gluten-free, making some other adjustments, there's just more on the front end here. But at least I didn't go into an actual grocery store, and we're making changes and we're doing things. So thank you for following along on this adventure, and I'll see you real soon with another brand new video. Bye bye.